Good afternoon, everybody. This is Manly Mark with Midday Madness with Manly Mark. I'm here with a special guest today in Uncle Pat's Pub. It's Joe. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Mark?
I'm good, brother. What brings you to Uncle Pat's Pub today? You just had to taste Terry's chili fries, huh?
Yep. Terry's chili fries is exactly why I came.
Well, Terry likes Joe. You know, he's in the middle of a divorce right now, so he's gaining weight, been having a hard time. Terry, not you, Joe. Terry. Everyone knows about Terry. He's always having a bad time. Jazzy J and H-Man never get cold hot coffee when they come in here.
Really?
Yeah, well, Terry doesn't like late people. But Terry likes Fee. Terry likes Fee. Fee was here yesterday. So,
that's good.
Well, guys, we got an interesting show for you today. We're just kind of flying by the seat of our pants because I'm not used to having a guest. But I'm glad to have someone here to kind of commentate on the things I want to talk about, you know. I know Joe's sitting over there thinking, oh, what kind of crazy stuff is he going to talk about today? Well, you never know with Manly Mark.
What is it, Mark? What are we talking about?
Well,
today?
you know, I never really, I guess kind of, I might have talked about it the other day, but just more in line and vein with the global depopulation effort and just the overall anti-human sentiment that the world and global elite have.
Gotcha.
You know, just because in all the propaganda, it's all anti-human. You know, the whole climate change, anti-human. It's net zero carbon. You ever heard people talk about, we got to get this net zero carbon? Well, the whole point of that is, what do you breathe out, Joe?
Carbon dioxide?
Yeah, well, if we're getting to net zero carbon, what's that mean, man? What's that mean? And of course, they're not sitting there saying, we want to end and extinguish all human life on Earth, but that is the end goal. Joe, I'm just going to imagine you're going to have to get that mic a lot closer to your face.
Okay. Am I not being?
Well, I mean, you're probably picking up audio, but the point being is you're going to want it to be. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Get right here.
That's fine. I just want.
Maybe move the table a bit.
Yeah. We're good. We're good. I just want to make sure because you know remember all those mic problems we had with Fee. Yes. It's just because you got to be in it. You got to be talking.
Yep.
You know, even when it maxes out, it doesn't affect the audio. But we're talking about the anti-human agenda. And but the first thing I wanted to hit on, just real quick, is something I talk a lot about is Wernher von Braun and how he was the head Nazi rocket scientist, and not during the war in Germany, and then during Operation Paperclip, they brought him over to America. He worked at NASA. He rubbed elbows with JFK. Worked with Walt Disney. But the point is, he was a pioneer in American space technology and such. But it's interesting because there's a lot of conspiracy and a lot of mystery surrounding him, particularly in that on his deathbed he told his secretary, hey, they're going to lie to you about, just in short, Russians. They're going to lie to you about asteroids, and the last thing they're going to lie to you about is aliens. It's all a lie. You know, and so that's well documented. But it's just, with all that in mind, it's interesting that on his gravestone, and I got to pull up this Bible verse in particular because I wasn't prepared. But on his grave, Wernher von Braun, 1912 to 1977, Psalms 19:1. Let me just hook that in my phone real quick. Psalms 19:1. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork. Essentially, the idea that, to be the guy that was pioneer of space and this, and that. Ooh, why is he leaving a verse that essentially indicates the firmament on his grave? It's like, well, and so again, I'm not here saying the Earth's flat. I'm not saying there's a firmament, but it's just interesting that this pioneer space guy leaving little clues on his gravestone. And
so, do you think the Earth's flat?
No, I don't think the Earth's flat. I don't think it's flat.
Do you think there's a chance the Earth's flat?
I wouldn't say there's no chance, because at the end of the day, I've never seen the Earth from the outside, and I know for a fact that a lot of the pictures they've shown us over the years are heavily doctored. And that, again, I'm not sitting here saying the Earth's flat as a pancake, but I do believe what a lot of they tell us is a lie or skewed or half truth. I think that's the point. It's not that the Earth's flat; it's just that there's more going on than what they want you to believe. That's kind of where I land. It's, so again, it's, if I say, the Earth's flat, and give you a good argument for it, again, it's not that I think Earth's flat. It's, hey, they might be telling you a lie about what they're telling you is the truth. that's where I get in on a lot of that kind of stuff. And so people don't spend enough time with me to I might say one crazy thing here or there, and they think, oh, okay, but it's just because number one, I like to get a reaction out of people, and I kind of do like being the crazy guy, so I feed into it a lot just because it's funny because people actually do think I'm crazy.
Most people do.
Yeah, and whether or not I am, it's fun being the crazy guy.
Yeah.
But then if you spend enough time with me, maybe you think, and not right now, but later on, you might see something and think, whoa, Mark was kind of talking about that in depth and detail a little bit. Oh, your mom in specific one time said, I don't know, I was filling her ear with a bunch of bull crap about predictive programming, how they'll show you stuff before it happens on TV and movies, this and that. And she had just mentioned to me, like, after you told me that, we was watching a movie and they kind of talked about that. And so you might not think about what I'm talking about right this moment, but later on you'll think, oh, I mean, not you specifically. That's just in general.
Yeah.
So, do you think the Earth's flat, Joe?
I don't think it is, but I mean, nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
I just don't pay attention enough or read into any of these articles.
Yeah. So it's just more so. Well, if they told you tomorrow they was lying to you, you'd be like, huh, not surprised.
Yeah. Keep going about my life.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. People are worried about paying their taxes. Worried about taking care of the families. So they're not thinking, is the Earth flat?
Yeah, because if you figure it out, what can you do about it?
No, you can't do nothing.
Nobody will believe you.
Well, and I get asked often, well, what do you think you can do about any of that stuff? It's not that I think I can change the world or think I can do this or that. It's that I think I want to know, so I'm not caught off guard.
Yeah.
Don't know why. I mean, again, if they shut off the power tomorrow, it's like, well, do I have a 3-month supply of food? No. So I know it's coming. I'm still not prepared.
Stuff buried?
Not up here.
You can drive and go get it wherever it's buried.
It's all gone now. It's just, I mean, and if the lights turn off, you're not getting 2 hours across the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you need to have a few tanks of gas.
I guess, but I mean, just think how many people are going to start cutting down trees over the roads or cutting down light poles over the roads. So it's like, okay, you got 3 tanks of gas, but you get 3 miles. Well, I mean, so just no one thinks about that kind of stuff. Are the road's even going to be accessible at that point? I don't know, because if they started telling me a Chinese military is going to roll into my city, well, I'm tearing up that road. He'd be doing.
Did you see the stuff with Venezuela this morning?
No, what's going on?
They're acting like the U.S. and Venezuela are about to get into a war.
What? Wow. Okay, I had no idea. But over what?
I don't know how you can.
Well, yeah, I can actually type that in real quick because I've got the screen capture function right here, but I'm not going to do it yet because I don't want to ruin other stuff I got. But let me pull up the right here. Go to Venezuela.
I didn't know if y'all would have talked about that on the one.
No, didn't even see it. Venezuela. Slow typer. Venezuela.
Type in Venezuela, it'll pull up.
Okay, right here. Oh, yeah, I'll get the AP. Okay, actually, let me get back to this. Click on the window capture. Now I got to get back to here so I can scroll. It's got to be a faster, more efficient way to do this, but later. Okay, let me read this real quick. U.S. destroyers head toward waters off Venezuela as Trump aims to pressure drug cartels. Interesting. Washington AP. The United States is deploying 3 Aegis guided missile destroyers to the waters off Venezuela as part of President Donald Trump's effort to combat threats from Latin America drug cartels, according to U.S. officials briefed on the planning. The USS Gravely, the USS Jason Dunham, and the USS Sampson are expected to arrive soon, said the official, who was not authorized to comment and spoke Tuesday on the condition of anonymity. A Defense Department official confirmed that the military assets had been assigned to the region in support of counter-narcotics efforts. The official, who was not authorized to comment about military planning, said the vessels would be deployed over the course of several months. The deployment of U.S. destroyers and personnel comes as Trump has pushed for using the U.S. military to thwart cartels he blames for the flow of fentanyl and other illicit drugs into American communities and for perpetuating violence in some U.S. cities. Trump has also pressed Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum, weird last name for a Mexican president, Sheinbaum, yeah.
Where's she from?
Or just ask where her parents are from.
Where's their parents?
Well, they're Jewish.
Are they?
Yeah, 100%. To cooperate more on security than her predecessor, specifically being more aggressive in pursuit of Mexico's cartels. But she has drawn a clear line when it comes to Mexico's sovereignty, rejecting suggestions by Trump and others of the intervention of the U.S. military. Let me come back to you guys. First and foremost, we should just annex Mexico. The U.S. should annex Canada and Mexico, and it just be the United States of North America. That's what we should do. Honestly. But we're not going to. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. I didn't have any idea that kind of thing was going on.
Mark, are you going to run for president one day?
No, never. I don't have the right blood. No, I'm not born in the right bloodline, man.
And the right bloodline is?
Whatever bloodline there. I don't know. Some girl did a science fair project where she connected every single U.S. president, maybe minus one, that to a single bloodline and a single ancestor. And so it's like, oh, they're all chosen beforehand. Now, which 5 of the ones that have the bloodlines gets chosen? I don't know how they do that.
You think like all the elections and everything are just rigged?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, we just get the illusion of choice. I believe.
Does the candidates know it's rigged?
Yeah, probably. Now, I mean, again,
so why would the loser agree to go into it?
Well, because again, whether or not it's Bush or Clinton, I think that might be a toss-up. But they're both in the pocket of the same guy, if that makes sense. And so, like when Al Gore lost the election to George W., from the Supreme Court decision or whatever court decision that will happen. I was a kid, so I don't remember that much. I think that was real, and he was like, oh, man. But he just, one of those globalist puppets were going to be the globalist puppet. You just wanted to be the one who gets to be saying, I'm the globalist puppet for the rest of history, If that makes sense, I believe. But yeah, I'll get a little more to what we're actually talking about today. And I can't even think of how to frame it now because I got Joe here with me, which is not a bad thing. I just, you get used to the flow by yourself, which was hard at first. Really hard. Like at first I thought, I can't do a podcast and talk to myself.
Talking about the Rocket Man.
The Rock Man?
The Rocket Man.
The Rocket Man? What Rocket Man? Oh, yeah, I just did that as just a quick intro because I talked about him in the past. That's not actually what we're talking about. We're talking about global depopulation. And so this is just a quick kind of intro to what we're talking about and kind of a...
We've been off topic.
Yeah,
topic.
Yeah, but we'll get into this after we watch this, and as we play the video, we turn off the mics because it's going to come through our TV.
You ever wonder why the most powerful organizations on earth announce their plans? Why they'll say things like you'll own nothing and be happy, or talk openly about population control? You'd think if this was some dark agenda, they would keep it secret. But they don't. They print it. They put it on websites. They put it in glossy reports. And you should stop and think about why. It's not because they are honest. It's because they've mastered something far more effective than force. Consent through apathy. See, if you keep something secret and people discover it, they revolt. But if you declare it openly and people shrug, you've turned domination into agreement by default. And then, when it's implemented, they can point back and say, we told you, it was public, you didn't stop us. It's psychological warfare, because the human brain normalizes repetition. The first time you hear carbon allowance, you laugh. The 10th time you think, maybe, and the 100th time you defend it. That's not democracy. That's conditioning. And this is the next step. They dress the cage in beautiful words. Equity, safety, sustainability. They make control sound virtuous. And you buy it because it feels moral. Meanwhile, the walls close in. And maybe, and this is a frightening thought, maybe it's also a test. A stress test to see if we've grown so passive, so distracted, that we'll trade autonomy for convenience without even a whisper of resistance. And I'll tell you something. So far, The evidence suggests we will, because we confuse warning with transparency and we mistake silence for safety. They don't need jackboots. They don't need gulags. They just need your compliance. And compliance is built one shrug at a time. So when you hear something insane, don't laugh and scroll. That's not a joke. That's the blueprint. And you'd better decide, because your silence, that's the signature on the contract you never read. So, still think they're warning you?
Well, so like that. No, you don't angle your mic up. Like you want to speak.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You know.
I'm new at this, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and you can even talk as loud as you can even talk a little louder because if you hear
Okay.
the tone of voice, you want to see that red a little bit.
Okay.
Like that video was setting up for, it's kind of like the whole point is that they don't just come out and tell you. Well, they do come out and tell you exactly what they're going to do, but it's not so much they shove it down your throat. It's that inch by inch. They say, like the example the guy used was carbon allowance. At some point, they're going to start taxing us for our carbon. Or give us a carbon allowance, meaning
Don't they do that in Canada already?
Yeah, places like those liberal countries, they kind of already do, but
Northern European countries as well?
Yeah, but it'll be like, okay, well, you've exceeded your carbon allowance for the month, Joe. You can't drive anymore, or you've exceeded your carbon allowance as far as food goes, so you can't.
Do you think they will ever get to that point in America?
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Well, I mean, and it's not yet because like with people like Donald Trump, if we would have got Joe Biden again or Kamala, we would have inched towards that further. Yeah. I mean, but you apply that to carbon allowance, or you could apply that to climate change, or like even depopulation.
I saw the other day Trump rolled back some of the emissions standards for car manufacturers.
Yeah, and that's good. That's good. I mean, I'm not pro pollution by any means. I'm pro save the earth, but
that's why older vehicles last longer.
Yeah.
Before they put all that stuff. So, and it would probably be taken away by the next president. So who knows if it gets anywhere, but that might help with, they may be able to make vehicles better again.
Yeah. I hope.
After seeing that. I don't know a lot about the emissions tax and stuff. I just saw that he's rolling back. So, I mean, Trump will help undo some of the stuff the Democrats have done.
Right. Well, because Trump is by nature not a globalist. Mm-hmm. Now, a globalist is that all these European countries like Canada or Northern European countries, they're all pushing their countries towards goals of a united world. Under a one world government. Essentially, it's a globalist. They want to unite the world, have a set of laws, rules for the entire world, and that's why countries or nationalists like Donald Trump say no. What's best for America is best for America.
Yeah.
The whole world be danged,
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the meeting with Trump and Putin the other day?
Oh, well, nothing's going to happen.
Nothing?
No, I mean, they're still bombing Ukraine. And, if we talk about this a lot on the morning show, Putin's just playing them all. Putin's a smart guy.
Do you think, would you like Putin to be our president?
Well, no, not necessarily. But I think if I was a Russian, I would probably think, hey, he's doing what's best for the Russian people, so that's good for the Russian people. So I mean,
and they just kind of let him do whatever, don't they?
Well, I guess, or whether or not he just does whatever he wants. I don't know the process or the legal stuff in Russia.
Yeah, well, he's been in charge there for a while.
A long time. He's seen several U.S. presidents come and go. So I mean, he's been there a long time. He's been in the game a long time. So. If they think they can stiff arm him, I think that's where they're wrong. But
yeah. Well, but you have another video for us?
Well, I mean, just to kind of keep in vein of like the whole. They're inching us closer to things like with climate change or population control. I mean, there's a specific guy that I'll read about. Here's his Wikipedia page, but it's Yuval Noah Harari. Yuval Noah Harari, Hebrew, interesting. Is an Israeli medievalist, military historian, public intellectual, and popular science writer. He currently serves as professor in the Department of History at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. His first best-selling book, long story short, this guy is an Israeli and we're going to talk a lot about him, specifically get into videos about him, but he is one of those people who, wrong thing. He's one of those people who are, well, telling you what they're doing right there in your face, like that first guy I was talking about, that we shrug at and think, oh, okay. But once it's on our heads and we say, wait, they're going to tell us, hey, well, we told you. And, this guy is one of the top globalists, one of the top globalist thinkers, and he works with a familiar organization on the Feast Me Network, the World Economic Forum, which is a globalist organization that's trying to enslave humanity. But I'll just pull up his little World Economic Forum page. So just to prove to people, hey, the World Economic Forum. I know you can't see too good, Joe, but you see all those letter O's?
Yes.
How that swish goes right through them?
Yep.
Kind of makes you think about sixes, right? They put it right. You can't see it that good, but it's just 666.
You're probably one of those people who thinks the Monster Energy drinks are 666.
I don't know if I do specifically Monster, but I think, and I don't necessarily, 666 might not even be the real number, but the point is they put that stuff out there because it has an effect on people, and they subconsciously. And that's the whole thing with like Monster, or there's what's that? It's either coffee and it's like called like death drink, or what's that coffee or energy drink that's like death in a can or something?
Liquid Death.
Liquid Death.
Sparkling water.
Yeah, but the scary thing is, it's like,
I saw the commercial and they said they put demons in it or something.
Well, but let me tell you this: like you can they've done experiments where like you can freeze water over certain words or over certain frequencies or pitches, and it has an effect on the water's molecular structure. But the point being is, the can is putting an intention on that water. I know it sounds crazy, but the symbols and things like that, and you giving energy and thought and stuff to them, has an effect. Like putting you can speak blessings or you can speak curses, right? If I say I love you, I speak. If I say I hate you, you can build up. God spoke and created, right? Not that we're God, but the point I'm making is words and phrases and symbols have a lot more power than you would think. And so, hey, Liquid Death, my favorite drink. Whoa, that's a little spooky for me. I know it sounds hokey pokey, but you think it's hokey pokey because they want you to think it's hokey pokey.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And even like those.
Well, that makes sense, but I'm not.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't know if I believe that.
I get it. Believe it or not. But I think words actually have power, man. Mm-hmm. What do you do when you write a word? You spell it. I know you spell. Words are magic, man. I'm just saying. I know. It sounds crazy, but there's power in words. And there's power in symbols and stuff. Things you identify and label yourselves with. I don't know, man. That gets kind of metaphysical and deep in a rabbit hole. But I just even think, on the surface, I don't want to drink Liquid Death. I don't want to put that idea upon myself.
Tomorrow's show, you need to drink a Liquid Death.
No, I ain't doing it. But the point I make with bringing up this guy, Noah Harari, is that he's big dog globalist. He's big dog.
Pull up that page again, will you?
This World Economic Forum one?
Yeah.
What about it?
Who does he work with?
The World Economic Forum, but he works in Jerusalem, the Department of History, the Hebrew University of Jerusalem.
Uh-huh. And he's trying to.
Well, he's one of these people. You'll hear the video of what he is and what the point is.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and let you listen to it.
Yeah.
But
okay.
So turn off your mic.
Okay.
And when you look back in history, people constantly compare the threat of automation and job loss in the 21st century to what happened in the 20th century. In the 20th century, you saw automation in agriculture, so lots of unemployed farm workers moved to working in industry. And then when automation reached the industries, they moved to working as cashiers at Walmart. But in those cases, what happened was that people lost low-skilled jobs and transferred to other low-skilled jobs. Moving from being an agricultural worker to working in some car factory in Detroit, you moved from one low-skilled job to another low-skilled job. When you lost your job at the Detroit car factory and got a new job as a cashier at Walmart, again, you moved from a low-skilled job to a low-skilled job. But the next stage, if the next stage means I'm losing my job at 45 as a cashier at Walmart, and now there is an opening as a software engineer at Google designing virtual worlds, this is going to be much more difficult than moving from the car factory to Walmart. And it's very likely that even if there are new jobs, most of the unemployed masses will not be able to make the transition. It's also a big question about young people, that nobody really knows what the job market would be like.
That video goes on longer, but the point I want to make is that like these people in the positions of the World Economic Forum are already talking about, like you missed it because you were trying to have a conversation with me during the video, so you weren't paying attention. But he said specifically, we went from, during the Industrial Revolution in the 20th century, or 20th century, we went from most people were farming, low skill job, he says, to working in the car, having to go to the car factory in Detroit, still a low skill job. Now you go from one low skill job to another low skill job. Okay, now car factory in Detroit shuts down. Well, now you're a cashier at Walmart, another low skill job. Well, when all those jobs are replaced by automation and an AI, he said, well, are they going to be able to become a software engineer at Google? No. And so what are you going to do with all the unemployable masses? That's where when you hear people like Bill Gates talking about population control and overpopulation, well, the future they envision very soon, like this Yuval Noah Harari, is, well, what are we going to do with all these people who are low skill, not unemployable? They're just.
I mean, that's just.
Well, I'll tell you what they're going to do. He's going to tell you right here. So turn off your mic and listen to this video, Joe. Now, I want you to listen to this for real. Same guy.
In the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century, what humanity basically learned to produce was all kinds of stuff, like textiles and shoes and weapons and vehicles. And this was enough for very few countries that underwent the revolution fast enough to subjugate everybody else. What we're talking about now is like a second industrial revolution, but the product this time will not be textiles or machines or vehicles or even weapons. The product this time will be humans themselves. We are basically learning to produce bodies and minds. Bodies and minds are going to be, I think, the two main products of the next wave of all these changes. And if there is a gap between those that know to produce bodies and minds and those that do not, then this is far greater than anything we saw before in history. And this time, if you're not part of the revolution fast enough, then you probably become extinct. Once you know how to produce bodies and brains and minds, so cheap labor in Africa or South Asia or wherever, it simply counts for nothing. Again, I think that the biggest question maybe in economics and politics of the coming decades will be what to do with all these useless people. I don't think we have an economic model for that. My best guess, which is just a guess, is that food will not be a problem. With that kind of technology, you will be able to produce food to feed everybody. The problem is more boredom and what to do with them, and how will they find some sense of meaning in life when they are basically meaningless, worthless. My best guess at present is a combination of drugs and computer games.
Hot dang! That's there. He's telling you what you know. I mean, in other videos, he describes them as useless eaters. That's us.
Drugs and
computer games. What do you think this telephone is, man?
Computer games.
Computer games. And what do you think they're putting in our water? Why do you think they legalize marijuana? In a lot of these liberal countries, they legalize all drugs. But they want to dumb us down because we have no sense of meaning. Most of our jobs are pretend. I mean, but the point is, with that is, this guy who's a bigwig in the World Economic Forum, who concerns himself with global policy and global decision making views a mass majority of the populace as entirely worthless. And once this automation with AI and robotics come about, that's what he meant when he said you can produce cheap minds and bodies.
So what do you think will happen to all the people?
Well, there's a mass culling.
Only the smart people will make it?
Well, I mean, yeah, but if you consider yourself smart, but you still live in Arkansas and work in construction, you're not one of those guys. Is the point? I mean, you're still one of the useless eaters. I'm a useless eater. Fee is a useless eater. Everyone listening is a useless eater, and you're thinking, what? Doesn't matter if you're having a lot of money for your region or locale, but you're not in that club. If that makes sense. Now, I mean, you could learn software engineering and go work at Google, I guess, as he said. You know what I'm saying? But for a mass majority of the people, that's not going to happen. But I lend all that to the greater idea of, like climate change. Hey, you guys have to limit your carbon intake. You guys have to stop eating meat. But we are still going to fly around the world in our private jets. We are going to do, treat you guys immoral for your carbon consumption. And so the point I really just make is that it's all just anti-human. All just anti-human. Oh, did I not have my Bill Gates video? Oh, I do, but and I say anti-human to the sense I'm going to tie this back into climate change and this net zero carbon they want. But let me just go ahead and just pull up just an article so I can read it to you for a second. This is wrong. That's still on an AP article, but where am I at? Okay, Bill Gates. I'm always talking about Bill Gates. Let me make sure that's there. Yep, it is. Okay, rich country, this is what Bill Gates says. Rich countries owe it to the world to get themselves down to net zero emissions. Bill Gates. It is not a must for all countries to achieve absolute zero, but richer countries must do so in order to show that there are solutions to mitigate the effects of climate crisis. He called for the world to be more bold with innovation investments that seek to combat climate change. Okay. Rich countries owe it to the world to get themselves down to net zero emissions. Gates, who is also chairman of the nonprofit Gates Foundation, who gives vaccines all around the world, was speaking at the opening dinner of the whatever in Singapore on Monday, the flagship. The point is with this whole article and this whole thought process is that us, the rich countries, owe it to the entire rest of the world to live as if we're third world citizens, so the rest of the world can continue to live like third world citizens. It's all about global wealth redistribution, global communism, and that's the whole point. But they want to do it also by culling people through manufactured epidemics, like with COVID, vaccines. Heck, a lot of people wonder why cancer is running so rampant. And now it's because they put it in your childhood vaccines that you got in 1970 or 1960. There's a lot of stuff that point to that kind of thing, but. I know you said you couldn't last too long, Joe, so we'll just go ahead and close it out.
Okay. Well, but that's a lot of information for me that I don't know a lot about, but everything you've said so far makes sense.
Well, I know.
I can see what you're saying about all these elites. I just, I haven't looked into it a lot, but it all makes sense.
Well, yeah,
if it's all true, it's not good for the world.
No, and it's just it's hard to even see how it makes sense. It affects you, but it does.
Yeah. Well, will it affect us, or will it affect us in 30? Will it affect us now?
I think it already is affecting us. We just don't realize it because we're so accustomed to it. But if you were to remember this day right now in conversation and look back in 30 years, you'll be like, whoa. Mm-hmm. But it's so slow, such a slippery slope. Like you said, you're so distracted, it's hard to even notice.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, check out Night with Fee tonight at 9 p.m. Fee's going to be there answering your questions. I know Joe tunes in every once in a while to Night with Fee. Mm-hmm. And if you want to catch me again tomorrow, I'll be here tomorrow at 9 a.m. on the Feast Me Show with Manly Mark. Thank you, guys, and God bless.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes. Oh, and thanks for Joe coming into the pub. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.